The Canny edge detector is probably the most widely used edge detector in computer vision. It uses the best properties of the gradient operator and the Laplacian operator. So let's take a look at how the Canny detector works. First, what you do is you simply smooth the image. That's n sigma, the Gaussian right here. You convolve that with the image, you smooth the image. And then you apply the gradient operator. For instance, using the Sobel operator, which is the 3x3 gradient operator we discussed earlier. You apply the gradient operator to the smoothed image, and what that gives you are two numbers at each point, the derivative in the x direction and the y direction. And from that, you can compute, of course, the magnitude of the edge at each pixel, and you can compute the orientation of the edge at each pixel. The magnitude is what's being shown in this image here. The brighter the point here, the higher the magnitude. And now, instead of applying a Laplacian, as is usually done in the case of the Laplacian operator, two-dimensional Laplacian, what Canny does is apply a one-dimensional Laplacian. And so the one-dimensional Laplacian is applied along the direction of the edge. So we know what the direction of the edge here is. That's the vector n. So you construct a 1D Laplacian and simply apply it along that direction. So Canny's argument is that if you do this, you're not going to be affected by things that happen along the other dimension. That might end up corrupting your result here. You get a much more reliable result if you construct a 1D Laplacian operator that's been designed for that particular direction, for that particular pixel. And that's what you see here. It's a second derivative of the smooth image with respect to the direction n. And if you get a strong zero crossing there, then you declare that to be an edge, such as this one right here. And so that's how you end up finding all the edges. Now, one thing that I want to discuss here, highlight, is the effect of this parameter sigma here. You can imagine that depending on how much you smooth your image, your edge results are going to change. So let's take a look at that. So here you have the image, and let's say you start off with a very small sigma here. You end up with lots of edges after applying the Canny detector. And then if you increase sigma, you see that the number of edges reduce. And if you increase sigma further, you see that you get sparser edges right here. So what's going on here is that you're exploring what's called the...
All right, thank you.